I'm Keith Olbermann, and this is The Resistance. Dragged in front of a microphone like a 9-year-old playground bully forced to apologize to his victim, mumbling a few platitudes with the same petulance with which he finally shut up about birtherism after 5 years of pushing it, Trump finally said something about racism and hate. And he said nothing of substance about Charlottesville. And he said nothing of substance about Heather Heyer. And he said nothing about domestic terrorism. He said nothing. The President of the United States has lost any moral authority he may have ever had to comment further on terrorism, domestic or international, at home or abroad. Further, the President of the United States is at best, indirectly responsible for the domestic terror attack at Charlottesville, Virginia on Saturday, and for whatever comes next. With his weakness, his imbecility, his racism, his cowardice, his pandering, his blindness, his tone deafness, his immorality, his hypocrisy, his reeking failure, his false equivalence between terrorist victims and terrorists, his nauseating claim of violence on many sides, and now his tardiness. Donald Trump is, for all intents and purposes, a sympathizer and apologist and practically an accessory after the fact to neo-Nazi domestic terrorism. His dog whistles of support for the terrorists were immediate. It took, however, until the third day for his boilerplate statement to acknowledge not all sides were equally at fault, and that statement lasted 4 minutes. As the shock has registered of scenes ripped from the German street marches of the 1930s and others from the ISIS vehicle terrorism of 2016 and 2017, scenes playing not in Nuremberg nor Nice, but in America, in Virginia, in Charlottesville, on and near the campus of the university which Thomas Jefferson created. As 3 Americans died and at least 34 more were injured, Donald Trump has still said and done nothing to contradict this conclusion. He is, for all intents and purposes, a neo-Nazi domestic terrorist sympathizer. This rally, named by the hate groups who participated in it, quote, "Unite the Right," unquote, was praised by the former leader of the Ku Klux Klan, who in attendance at it said, quote, "We're going to fulfill the promises of Donald Trump. That's what we believed in. That's why we voted for Donald Trump." The pathetic march at the University of Virginia included several participants wearing Trump Make America Great Again caps. Trump deliberately chose to not condemn nor even repudiate the support of these cowards and any others like them. The president's first reactions to the rally were so vague, so tepid, so meaningless, so reeking of praising by faint damnation, Charlottesville sad, that the neo-Nazi Richard Spencer of the white power group the National Policy Institute retweeted Trump on Saturday and actually asked if Trump had just denounced the anti-racist counter-protesters. The president's second and third reactions to the rally, including his childish statement before the cameras on Saturday, were so vague, so tepid, so meaningless, and again so reeking of praising by faint damnation that the founder of the neo-Nazi site The Daily Stormer wrote triumphantly, "There was virtually no counter-signaling of us at all. He refused to even mention anything to do with us. When reporters were screaming at him about white nationalism, he just walked out of the room." These creatures can and will ignore Trump's too little, too late 4 minutes. The terrorist vehicle attack was allegedly conducted by James Alex Fields Jr., whose own mother told the Associated Press she knew he was going to a rally and, quote, "I thought it had something to do with Trump." James Alex Fields Jr. marched in Charlottesville with the racist group Vanguard America. For nearly a decade, the political party now led by Donald Trump insisted that those who would not call ISIS and related groups, quote, "radical Islamic terrorists," were minimizing and enabling those terrorists. Last September 19th, Trump himself said, quote, "Anyone who cannot name our enemy is not fit to lead this country." On day 3, Trump has still deliberately chosen to not condemn nor even name the neo-Nazi domestic terrorists, our enemy. Therefore, by his own words and inactions, for all intents and purposes, Trump is minimizing and enabling those terrorists, and he is not fit to lead this country. In the 2 dreadful years since he declared his candidacy, Donald Trump has condemned the Pope. He has condemned the CIA. He has condemned the FBI. He has condemned Hillary Clinton. He has condemned Barack Obama. He has condemned John McCain. He has condemned Mitch McConnell. He has condemned all legitimate news organizations from Univision to Fox News. He has condemned 2 attorneys general, his acting attorney general, his deputy attorney general. He has condemned random citizens ranging from the fashion model Molly Sims to the actor Brandon Victor Dixon to the athlete Ronda Rousey to me. He has condemned Germany. He has condemned Mexico. He has condemned Chicago. He has condemned terrorism when it was terrorism, and he has condemned terrorism when it was not proven to be terrorism. He has had since Saturday afternoon to condemn domestic terrorists here in America. He has had since Saturday afternoon to specifically condemn those at Charlottesville. He has condemned none of them. 6 of Trump's rivals for the Republican nomination called this what it was, and quickly used terms like white nationalists and domestic terrorism. Fox News wondered why Trump wouldn't label it domestic terrorism. Drudge billed it as Make America Hate Again. A hockey team whose logo was appropriated by some of the neo-Nazis immediately threatened legal action. The company that makes the tiki torches that the marchers carried said it was deeply saddened and disappointed we do not support their message or the use of our products in this way. But in the moment, this Trump could bring himself to speak only of, quote, hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides, to speak only and inanely of how he wants to study the situation in Charlottesville. He could speak only and completely consistently with all of the dog whistles to the fascists and the neo-Nazis and the racists which peppered his presidential campaign of how we must, quote, cherish our history. An anonymous spokesperson later lied that Trump's criticism of victims and perpetrators alike somehow clearly included a condemnation of the terrorists. Another aide claimed Trump had not wanted to dignify even the generic term white nationalists, even though less than a month ago, Trump devoted an entire long political rally to the gang called MS-13, and he has mentioned that group by name endlessly. Finally, on the 3rd day, he gave Nazis and racists 4 minutes. Donald Trump is not responsible directly for the acts of domestic terrorism at the neo-Nazi attack in Charlottesville, Virginia over the weekend. He is responsible for them after the fact. He has cleared the path for domestic terrorists to feel empowered to do what they want to do in this country. On Saturday, when asked by reporters for more, when asked for something, he walked away. Donald Trump is a clear and present danger to the safety of the citizens of the United States of America. As if this were not enough, he has also acted in the interests of the Russian government. He has threatened conflict with North Korea, provoked possible nuclear conflict with China, and spoken of unspecified military action against Venezuela. His presidency is no longer tenable, and in less than 7 months, he has led this nation to such depths that there is only one solution: the removal by any legal means of that president immediately, or failing that, the refusal of the citizens of this nation to cooperate any longer with a racist, hateful, irresponsible government that coddles domestic terrorists and is led by this filth, Trump. Resist. Remove. Peace.